iHeartMedia.
Hi guys. Oops. This is our Father's Day show. Guys, I'm here. You see, I'm trying to get this thing on.
Is she a medical doctor? No, she is a hair doctor. Oh, I get it. She's a hair doctor. Trichologist.
Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. I'm here. You know what? This headset is doing some craziness with my fro. And I'm just having a hard time, but I'm going to try it a different way. We're just going to see. Well, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you dads out there. First, I want to start by saying happy Father's Day to my husband. There we go. Let's try something a little different. I'm going to say happy Father's Day, honey. I hope you're having a wonderful day with your daughters. Yes, and I'll be joining you guys later. And happy Father's Day to my brother. And I hope you're having a wonderful day, brother. And we got to say happy Father's Day to Niecy's husband. Yay! Here she comes. She's coming around. And you know what? I'm jealous because she has on her little dashiki and African attire. And I'm just, she's looking good. Okay? She's taking care of the fro guys. But it's not about the girls today. It's about the guys.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about the guys. And happy Father's Day to all of my friends' husbands. I'm not doing names. I'm just saying people. And my friends, my brother-in-laws, my nephews, because they have babies. And happy Father's Day to your sons and your brothers and your uncles and all of the folks out there. This is about the guys. It's always about the girls. Now, you guys, I have to just admit I have done something super cute to my hair today, but welcome to the show. I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari, and today we're going to talk about the guys. We're going to talk about men and their hair. So make sure you guys tune in so that you can call in and talk to me. My phone lines are open at 901-535-9342. And of course, I'm streaming live, and that's 901-535-WDIA. And I'm here at the WDIA and iHeart Studios. Now, you can also download that free iHeart app, and you can hear me anywhere in the world. So make sure you send a text or an email to your friends in other states and countries and let them know, hey, the hair doctor is on the air and you said that you need her, and she is here. But we're going to talk about men today, but we want to kind of recap some things. But first, welcome to the show. And if you're just tuning in for the very first time, let me scoot back just a little bit. Welcome. Thank you for spending your after church Sunday evening with me. I'm here each and every Sunday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm so excited when you join me because I'm doing it for you. And I just want to welcome you to the show and just to call in and ask any questions you may have. Last week, a great show. Loved it. And it was really outstanding. We had tons of calls. I got emails afterwards and lots of comments and thank yous and all that business. We talked about the relaxer and transitioning. That's always going to be a great show because there is this revolution. I'm going to get to you guys. No worries. I promise. There's a revolution toward natural hair within our community. It started out as a slow movement. I've been natural for many, many, many years. I even relaxed my hair in 2009 because I saw so many people doing this big chop and regretting it. So I relaxed my hair so that I could show you how to transition. So I did that in 2009, but I've been natural for many years. I wore texturizer for years, and then I decided to go natural, and especially because I have some outstanding products. Like if you look at my hair, it looks like a texturizer. But we have some outstanding products, Hey, happy Father's Day. We have some outstanding products that will. Nisi always wants me to smile while I'm talking to y'all. So if I pause and look kind of crazy looking that way, it's because she's like, smile. I'm like, okay, so I smile. Okay, I haven't learned to do the ventriloquist thing where you talk into your teeth like that. Okay, I'm getting there. But anyway, so we just had so many people to do the big chop. So I wanted to show you how to relax your hair without chopping it. Just transition. So that was a great, outstanding show. Thank you so much, who our callers and whoever tuned in. But today is about the guys. Today is about the guys. We're going to talk about men. It's Father's Day. So again, happy Father's Day. And we're going to talk about men and hair loss. We're going to talk about implants. And I've got some questions from you. Got a question from a 24-year-old. So that's pretty cool. One of our youngest listeners. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to answer that question. And then we're going to just talk about men in general as it relates to alopecia, androgenetic alopecia, better known as male pattern baldness. And then we're going to talk about some of the things that the American Hair Loss Association has to have to say about it. Get some statistics so we can hear how is this affecting us, and what is DHT? And let's just take a closer look at it, because I think that's a big question. And then implants. Is that something that you should realistically consider? But my phone lines are open, and I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from the guys today. And ladies, if your guy won't call, you call for them. My phone line is open at 901-535-9342. That's 901-535-9342 or WDIA. Okay, so where do we start? Let's talk a little bit about what the American Association of Hair Loss. Some of the statistics that they have shown us. It says androgenetic alopecia, which is commonly known as male pattern baldness, or MPB, accounts for more than 95% of hair loss in men. Now, that's a big number. And by the age of 35, 2/3 of American men will experience some degree of hair loss. And by the age of 50, approximately 85% of men will have significantly thinning hair. That's interesting. And you know what? The thing is, with my institute, World Trichology Institute, one of the things that I'm consistently doing is I'm looking at all these different ways that women and men lose hair. And it's really interesting with men, because most of the time when you see what is known as the male pattern hair loss, you're thinking that the only hair loss that it could possibly be. So we assume it's male pattern. Well, in some cases, it's not. And that's what we've done in our institute, or what I've done, and studies that I've conducted just to prove theories. And really, I'll be honest, it started out with ladies, but when I looked at my male patients, what I noticed is that we have follicles, and the follicles were functioning. As I gave my microscopic view, or I performed my microscopic view and examination of the scalp and the epidermis scalp, I noticed that there were hairs there. In many cases, ingrown hairs, cases where there were little blockages around the mouth of the follicle. So we had a hair there. And with male pattern, you notice that miniaturization of the hair shaft, and you notice that the strand was just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We're going to talk about that a little more today, as that production of DHT, dihydrotestosterone. So we're going to talk about what happens in that whole process and just take a closer look at DHT. But we've got two categories of hair loss when it comes to hair loss. You've got what I term it as internal and external. Well, internal is hair loss that stems from the way the follicle functions or malfunctions in its production state. So when the hair is being produced, when the hair is, as the follicle is creating the hair, then sometimes it will malfunction for many reasons. So that's one type. I mean, one category. You have different types within that category. You can have hair loss because of drug induced, like medication. Certain medications can cause the follicle to malfunction, some more than others. So you always want to read that little packet on your prescription that comes with your prescription, the paper that most people open the prescription and then kind of throw that away. No, let's read that because you want to know some of the side effects of your meds. And the reason is because then you can be pretty proactive. And it may seem a little reactive, but no, it's really proactive. And just speak with your doctor about that medication and say, hey, listen, I noticed its side effect is hair loss, and I'm concerned about that. So I'd like to perhaps see if there's a different type of medication that I can have that may not cause hair loss, that will solve the same problem. And you'll be surprised that the doctors that will help you out with that. It's not that they're intentionally giving you something that causes hair loss. It's just that's one of the side effects, and that's the med that they believe is going to be best for you. But many of them are really wonderful and gracious to research and just say, hey, we could try this one instead. And so you want to speak with them about that. Also, there are types of hair loss that stem from other things that are going on within the body system. In male pattern, the androgenetic hair loss or alopecia is the most common. And genetics can play a role, and we're going to get into that a little bit more as we get into the show. But my phone lines are open at 901-535-9342. That's 901-535-WDIA. If you have a question for me, and be sure to download the iHeart app so that you can tune in and tell your friends to tune in online as well, if you're not here local in the city, or online. And you can go to the WDIA page, or my website, lisaakbari.com, and that's LISAAKBARI.com, and you can tune in from my page so that I'll have a link always there so that you can get right to the show. Okay, so what we want to do is look at some of the factors, and we're looking at the hereditary factor is slightly more dominant. Sometimes we'll say that it's, and this is a controversial type of statement or finding, because research shows that sometimes it's more dominant on the woman's side, but sometimes research will show it's more dominant, like on the father's side. So you can say, well, I got this because my dad was bald or because my mom was bald or whatever. Well, some research shows it doesn't matter. So I just want you to do this. If you have hair loss, men, you want to look at a couple of things. One, you want to, since you've identified that you have the hair loss, you want to just make sure that you go to see a trichologist, one that uses a handheld microscope so that they can examine your hair right at the scalp level and microscopically, so they can determine whether or not your hair is stemming from something that perhaps is external or internal. And we're going to get to the external piece in just a second, but the way they'll know is by the characteristics of that particular strand. I mean, you're going to see more of a villus type strand. That tells us that that follicle may be malfunctioning. A villus strand is a strand that lacks color. It has the inability to obtain length, and it doesn't get very long. It's a very short, very small, and sometimes you really can't identify that strand unless it's a microscopic view. So seeing a trichologist is crucial, and then they can help you with the direction you should go in and which practitioner maybe help you with deciding that. Also, you know, guys, I forgot to say happy Father's Day to somebody very important right in the studio, Mr. Mark Stansberry, who, yeah, hey, Mark. Yeah, he's here with us. And it's Father's Day and he's here working. So happy Father's Day, Mark. Sorry about that. We definitely can't forget you. But I did say it as soon as I walked in the building. But I want to make sure everyone out there know that we have someone here that helps us with the studio, with getting on the show every week, and that's Mr. Mark. And we want to say happy Father's Day to you. Okay, now external follicular hair loss. And with that one, that's the unique thing about it, with that particular type of hair loss, you got a situation where it may pattern or look like male pattern alopecia or baldness. And if it does, then let's see what I'm seeing. Somebody's okay. If it does have that pattern, then sometimes it will be misdiagnosed and be diagnosed as male pattern. And it could be, it may have the pattern or the shape or the appearance of an internal follicular hair loss, but it could very well be external. Now, what's external? External follicular loss can be where the ingrown hairs are there, the follicle has functioned, but the hair has grown out of the mouth of the follicle and it's sandwiched somewhere between your epidermis layer and any solidified pollutants on the surface of the scalp. And we're going to talk about those as well. Then you have scalp plugs. You have plugs where you have the hair has grown up to the mouth of the follicle and then it's trapped right there and it can't emerge from the mouth of the follicle. So there it is. So, okay, so yeah, Nisi's doing these candid shots. I just gotta love her. You just gotta love her. Okay, so yeah, so that's male. That could be an external follicular loss that looks like has the appearance or the pattern of male pattern baldness and very well can be external. So that's why it's really crucial and important that you really make sure that you get these examinations, because then you'll know. I mean, this industry is huge. We're going to talk about all the money that's made within this industry. It's a $1.87 billion industry. That's the revenue that, I mean, it's crazy. The revenue that is made through this. We're going to get to those questions in a second, but I want to go back over here and talk about androgenetic alopecia for a few minutes, or commonly known, as I said, male pattern baldness. So let's talk about this with here. We're going to go to, alrighty, when do we notice? Let's want to talk a little bit about DHT, dihydrotestosterone. This is let's take a look. Let's see. I want to make sure that I give a concise definition of this, because how is this produced and what does it do? We have to look at the fact that this particular enzyme type, it's basically from 5-alpha redox, which is held in that follicle itself, but it's really in an area where the oil or sebaceous glands are. And that's how it grows and feeds, and then it causes the follicle to malfunction. So what happens, you get this miniaturization process where the follicle just becomes smaller and smaller, and it produces a smaller and smaller strand until the follicle ceases to function. So it's really it's something that we really need to think about that when we're trying to determine if we have male pattern or if it's an external, internal, really need to think about these things and educate ourselves on this. And so I just want to make sure you understand what's really happening to your follicle. So this is something that happens internally in the follicular area where the hair is being produced, and it just causes the follicle to malfunction. So how do you know what's going on? How do you know this? You have to have examinations. You really have to have that. First, once you've identified through that in the mirror that you are losing hair every day, you're getting, or every year, you're noticing less and less hair, you then at that point, you just determine that this is a, I've got to do something about it. Or some men shave their head. We find that a lot. And then once you've determined that, then you want to see a trichologist. The trichologist will help you with the types of examinations that you need. And, as I mentioned earlier, they will help you with, in many ways, with the examination in which practitioner you'll need. And then at that point, the dermatologist will help you with determining some of your options. And we're going to talk about one of those options today on the show. But let's go to our phone lines. Hello, and welcome to Ask the Hair Doctor. Happy Father's Day. Do you have a question for me? Thank you. Okay, these are outstanding questions because we have a lot of folks that are confused about this. Number one, anything that you can put on the surface of your skin is not going to help with, well, I'll say this, shampoo that you can put on the surface of your skin is not going to stop or prevent any internal follicular loss. It can help with your scalp follicle, the mouth of the follicular unit being open. So in that regard, your shampoos are important. So you want to just make sure that you're using a shampoo with the pH of 4.5 to 5.5, which is the pH of your scalp and hair. And then you want to use a shampoo that is that particular shampoo that it's a clarifier. So you want to put it at a pure natural state. Now this will avoid having those blockages, those buildups around the mouth of the follicle, which can cause a certain type or category of hair loss that I mentioned earlier, the external. The other thing is any oils and greases, you said, those can sometimes cause more problems. Like it can cause a buildup around the mouth of the follicle and clog the pores. So what you want in grooming your hair, you definitely need shampoos, but they're not going to help with male pattern. You have to have the examination to determine if this is in fact male pattern or if there's some external follicular problem. So you want a clarifying shampoo, as I said. Just your takeaway will be you want the proper shampoo because you want to have a clean, acidic, stimulated, hydrated environment. And you want oils if you want to use something to lubricate the scalp. So the way you'll know if this is the correct oil, you put a small amount on the back of your hand, you rub it in, and it should just go right in the skin and have a shine. If it's sticky or if it does not go into the skin and have just a shine instead of a heavy feel, then you've got an oil that's going to clog your pore. You have more of a grease. So be careful with that. But yes, if you are suffering with hair loss, then you want to have the proper examinations to determine what type, if this is alopecia, breakage, or if it's an external or internal. The shampoo, what you do is when you go in the stores, and we have on our website, and I'm going to share that with you as well, a entire page that's dedicated to men, and we have certain shampoos we recommend. Now, you want to look at a clarifying shampoo. That's what you would look for. That means put your scalp and hair at a pure natural state. And then you want the pH. If you turn the bottles around, there should be a little number on the back of the bottle, right underneath where the ingredients are. And it should say 4.5, 5, or 5.5. You don't want to go any higher than that, because if you have dry scalp or hair, then that's going to be safer for you. And also it's going to be more scalp friendly. Our scalp and skin is acidic in reaction, so it really responds better to shampoos that are within the range of the pH of the skin. Okay, all right, but go on my website, lisaakbari.com, and you will find an entire page for men, and we talk about everything on that page. Okay, thank you so much for calling Ask the Hair Doctor. Happy Father's Day. Okay, that was a great call. We're going to go back to our, let's see, oops, hello, and hold on. Put them on hold and make sure this call is dropped. Now we'll go back. Well, hello, and welcome to Ask. I think we lost them. Let's go here. And so, caller, if I dropped your call, are you there? Okay, yeah, I think we lost them. Put them on hold, and then we'll drop them. Okay, now, all right, so thank you so much for calling, but so if I cut you off, or if I took too long to get to the phones, then call back. My number is 901-535-9342. That's 901-535-9342. And we're here today. Happy Father's Day to the men in your life. We're here today talking about hair loss with men. And we're going to talk about implants as well. And then answer your questions and about hair loss and whatever you like to talk about. Like the gentleman caller we just had, he wanted to know about the best shampoos. He wanted to know things like what's the best oil to use on his hair or in his scalp. So that was pretty cool. And you want those because you don't want to be always so reactive. You want to be proactive. You want to make sure you learn about how to take care of your hair. But because honestly, most of the patients that I treat, men and women, suffer with a category of hair loss is very external. So they're suffering with, and even the ones with male pattern, there's a larger percentage of men who are suffering from male pattern. They have a percentage of that hair loss stems from an external follicular problem. That means their scalp has problems of the scalp, whether it's a scalp disease or whether it's a blockage around the follicle, chronic ingrown hairs, whatever it is relating to those superficial layers of the epidermis. There's problems within that renewing process. So they're suffering with something that's very external, and we can treat that problem. So make sure that you have those examinations so you know what type and reason why you're losing hair. So I know you guys, it's Father's Day and everybody's like, okay, we're out to dinner with the dad or my husband or my son or my nephew or my uncle. That's cool. I'm proud of you. I was there with my husband and my two daughters earlier. Niecy was with her husband and her in-laws, and it's just, we pulled ourselves away to come over here and serve y'all. Gotta love us. Okay, but we're here. So guys, I'm here, and I know some of you are just logging in. So thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the show. And of course, everything is archived. So you'll be able to get this show at any time. It's on my YouTube page, Lisa Akbari Product, or you can go on my website, lisaakbari.com, and that's LISAAKBARI.com. Okay, and again, happy Father's Day to my husband. I love you so much. Now, I asked my daughters and my husband to tune in, so hopefully they're tuning in and listening in. What do you think? Okay, we're going to go back to our phone lines. Hi, and welcome to Ask the Hair Doctor. Do you have a question for me? Happy Father's Day. Hey, hey, hey. Okay. Okay. Now I gotta remember my online folks can't hear you, so I'm gonna repeat your question. Okay, you have a question. You said when you comb your hair is straight, but when it dries, it curls back up. When you put a cap on, it curls and it curls up. Do you sweat under your cap? So, okay. Okay. Well, this is the way it is with the hair. The hair is your hair is curly, correct? And so when you comb through it, it depends on what you have on that strand. It could straighten your strand out temporarily. It's not a chemical. It could be like the oils you're using. And many people will use, especially men, they'll use these grease products or they'll use these Dax or wax. And it really kind of smooths the hair out and gives it a wave. And so when you use that, then your hair will straighten out. Now, putting the cap itself is not the relevant thing that causes it, with the exception of the fact that the cap is going to bump against the hair strand. So it's going to cause it to release from your head a little bit, like it'll lift up the curl and cause it to revert back to its own pattern. Now, I don't mean revert back in the sense where you are, I mean in the sense where it's, your hair is going from permanent straight to back to curl. It's just in the sense where some of the product is rubbed away and also the hair is rubbed, the cap is rubbing against your hair. So then it causes it to curl back up. So that's really all that is. It's not really a big deal. And especially if you sweat any, that's going to definitely cause it to curl back up because the hair is curly. So it's trying to go back to its natural state. So it's nothing. Hmm. So when you comb your hair, some of the hair is in the comb. Well, you have something called natural shedding. So what I want you to do is get you a little Ziploc bag and collect those hairs. I know it may be a few little hairs, but just kind of slide them off the comb into the bag. And then you want to take a look, get to a table, get some light from a table. And guys out there, all you guys can do this because this will help you to know whether you're shedding or breaking. And so what you do is you get, if your hair is light in color, you want to use dark piece of paper. If it's dark in color, you want to use a light piece of paper. And you just want to lay those strands out. Get a nice little lamp near you. Sit at a table comfortable and just look at them. Get some reading glasses on or a magnifying glass. You know, we have to have reading glasses sometimes. So some of us do. I do. But so then you're looking close and you're looking for something called a hair bulb. It'll be a little club-like tissue on the end. So we want to put those to the side so you'll know whether that's shedding. Anything that has a hair bulb came from your scalp. And then other times it's just little pieces of layers, so it's hair breakage. So many men, do you use like a little brush, a bristle brush? Okay, use a comb. Okay. Okay. So sometimes you get these little tears on the strand, so the hair will break off some of its layers. So it depends on what that is. And if you have those layers, if it doesn't have the club-like tissue, you'll see it. It's a little white, little ball on the end of the strand. If you don't see that, then it's breakage. If you see that, then it's shedding. Now, depending on how much you get, because you're supposed to naturally shed, you can shed up to 80 to 150 strands a day. So if you're naturally shedding, then that's okay. But if it's an excessive amount of hair, then it may be shedding prematurely. So you may be moving into something like a androgenetic alopecia, which is male pattern baldness, or some other internal follicular problem. So just make sure you collect it. And then when you do, and you can call back on the show, or you can, and look on my website. I don't know if you're online ever. You can look on my website and you can just send those strands in and we can read those for you. But that's the way you'll know yourself. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for calling. All right. Have a great day. Bye. Okay. The guys are calling. Good. All right. Let's see if I can cut this off. I'm terrible at cutting this off. Yeah, there we go. We dropped a call. Super. I was able to do it. Okay, again, happy Father's Day to the men out there, to your men, your uncles, your nephews, your brothers, your folks out there, your family. Happy Father's Day to you. And we're having a Father's Day show. We're celebrating the guys. You know, Mother's Day was pretty special. And I almost did something similar to that for Father's Day. Mother's Day was great. I had my daughters here, my mom here, my friends here, my sisters and their children. It was just, we had a crowd. It was great. It was super duper. And we just had a really good time. But I thought, okay, now I could get the men here maybe. But, you know, men like to be pampered and spoiled. So most likely they wouldn't have left all the goodies that their wives and their sisters and folks had for them. So I didn't think I would get them to come. So I didn't even try. To be honest with you guys, oh my God, gotta love them. Okay, so we're here. If you're just tuning in, I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari, and we're here on Ask the Hair Doctor in our WDI studios and iHeartRadio. So thank you so much for tuning in to the show today. This is our Father's Day show. And if you have a question for me, we're live right now. You can call in. And we have about 25 minutes left. So we're pretty good here. 25 minutes. And you can call at 901 535 9342. That's a 901 WDIA or 9342. Thank you so much for calling in and the callers so far. And it's been 2 guys. Now, ladies, come on. You can call. Just because it's a Father's Day show, you can call. Because I tell you, if you're like me, I know most of what there is to know about my husband. I always say most because everybody knows everything about anybody, but most of it. So I would know the questions he would have about hair loss. So you can call in for your men if they're not going to call in, and you can ask a question. I'm just not, ladies, you have all the show time, all the other shows. So I'm not going to let you call in about your own hair. I'm going to say, now, I know you have a man in your life. Ask me something about them. So if you call. So call in if you like at 901-535-9342. That's 901 WDIA here at the iHeartRadio and WDIA studios. I am your hair doctor for the next 25 minutes. I'm trichologist Lisa Akbari. And if you're just tuning in for the very first time, thank you so much for calling in. Now remember, guys, you can call my institute if you need to come in and see me for a hair analysis, if you're local or if you travel. I mean, we've got people coming from all over the world to our Rural Trichology Institute, just to tell you a little bit about myself. And you can call on tomorrow. There we will be open, and that number is 901-380-4445 if you'd like to schedule an appointment to see me. And make sure you visit my website. Guys, come on, visit that website because I have a page that's designed just for you. It's called For Men. And when you open the page, it says men, come on in. And basically what we do is we talk about everything that relates to your hair and your scalp. We have information. Let's see. We have so much information about your hair and scalp. Things like folliculitis, those little razor bumps, things that you can get on the neck, on the chin when you're shaving. We talk about hair loss itself, how to care for your hair. And we even have programs just for men, because men, just like women, you have to take care of your hair and scalp. Now, we know I have patients who will say, oh, male patients, I just grab the bar soap that's on the counter or whatever my wife purchases. I want you guys to get into it with your hair. I want you to start looking at uh, what you're using and be careful to groom because sometimes you're losing hair and you don't have to. All right, you're losing hair. You want to create a clean, acidic, stimulated, hydrated environment. And guys, one of the things that I wanted to say, some of these external follicular problems that I noticed with men, I noticed that they have like sunburn on the scalp, first degree skin damage, because some of you guys are going out in the middle of the day and this sun and you're letting that sun shine right on your crown and you're getting that leathery type feel and look. And when I examine the scalp of men that do that, I notice that they have first degree skin damage. And really it's similar to a first degree burn, and that the epidermis has got this polluted environment there of dead skin cells. And so we want to really look at that and be careful to take care of our scalp. So wear a cap. Make sure you're covering your crown, men. And even if you have some hair, you still want to cover that crown when you're going out in that sun, because we tend to have shorter hair. Now, nowadays, you have men with locks and big fros and all these kinds of things, and that's okay. But you just want to make sure you protect and preserve when you're out, if you, or whatever you're doing outside, working in the yard, or whatever you're doing, out golfing, whatever you're doing. Walking from your building to your car, just make sure that you're protecting and preserving your hair and scalp, because you can lose hair if you're not careful. Okay, we have some questions. Now, I've got some celebrity news that here, but you know, it's not about men. This is about a female. So we're not going to talk about this. There was some research that was sent to me. So no. We're going to talk about men today. No women. We'll leave that one over here. But you know, there are a lot of people that are, I promised that I would speak to you. Okay. I promised that I would speak to you about, thank you, speak to you about implants. I got it. Thank you. Okay. We've got a question in our chat. Nisi's giving me her reading glasses. I gotta love it. That's my friend right there. I might need them sometimes, but today I don't need them for some reason. It says, here's the question before we start talking about implants, guys. And again, my phone lines are open at 901-535-9342 if you have a question. But this chat question says, do men with close shaved hair treat itchy scalp differently than women? Okay. Oh, I think you're okay. Close shaved, you mean like when you shave your scalp, not your face. I think that's what they're saying. Do men have close shaved hair? Yeah. Okay, got it. Treat itchy scalps differently than women. Actually, scalp is skin. So you're not really treating your scalp any different than women. If you have an itchy scalp is like a headache. It's like with your body. Your body, when you have a headache, that's something's going on. You're either sleepy, hungry, or something more serious. With the itchy scalp, your scalp is either dry or it's dirty or something more serious. So no, you don't want to treat it differently. You're basically going to create an environment for a healthy scalp. So you start with that. So you clean your scalp. You have to have a clean, acidic, stimulated, hydrated. So you clean, and you clean often, especially men who wear low cut styles. And I tell women this the same thing. If you shave your head, if you wear a very short cut, then you need to shampoo more. And why is that? Well, the hair acts as a trap, but it also acts as a protector. So basically your hair, when debris gets in your hair, it's going to kind of sit around in your hair. And after 2 or 3 days, it's going to get to your scalp. Now, of course, obviously, if you're in a very dirty environment, it's going to get there a lot quicker. But with men or women who have close shaved heads and you have debris, it's going to get to your scalp right away. So this is the situation you have. You have a situation where as soon as you go into that environment, you're going to get this debris on your scalp. So we have to identify first if we have a clean scalp. If we don't have a clean scalp, then we're going to have debris that's sitting there and it's causing ear itching, or it would aggravating type itch. So that will be one thing it could be. So clean. And you want acidic. I mentioned the pH 4.5 to 5.5. Our scalp is more acidic in reaction. Then you want to look at a stimulated environment. When you're shampooing, don't scratch, massage so you can stimulate the blood circulation around the follicle. And then a hydrated environment. You want to keep your skin hydrated. And how do you do that? The gentleman caller earlier mentioned oils. You can do that by sealing in your moisture levels on your scalp. You say, well, my scalp is dry, but after you finish shampooing, your moisture levels are up. Once you rinse your conditioner off, your moisture levels are up. So what you want to do at that time, blot your scalp, blot your hair, and then take an oil and glaze your scalp and hair with it. And what that's going to do is seal in moisture. The epidermis in its healthy state can hold up to 20% of its weight in moisture. So if you do that, if you use that oil, are we scratching over there, Nisa?
Barely.
Okay, barely. Oh, you got to love her. She said she was barely scratching.
Nothing
You made
on
me.
my hand. That's all I'm saying.
She made me stop answering my question, and I hope I don't forget my answer, Nisi, because you know I can't stand to have somebody scratching their scalp in this room or anywhere around me, because scratching tears the skin, and it can cause problems. Okay. We're gonna debate this some more afterwards. I'll fuss you about that afterwards. Okay. Because we're running out of time. But anyway, so you want to create that environment. I'm going to go hide and scratch. Okay, we're going to create that environment so that the skin will be healthy. So if the epidermis is holding 20% of its weight in water, it's going to help to seal in moisture. And that's going to be crucial for you. So make sure that you're doing that. So once you've done that and you have an itchy scalp, and it's still itching, we want to look at maybe we have some problems that may require a visit, number one, to your trichologist, because they can examine microscopically to view the mouth of the follicle or the surface of the epidermis. And then at that point, they can help to recommend a dermatologist, because a dermatologist is the medical doctor that's going to help with any scalp disease, or they can do more extensive tests that can determine if there's problems that does require medical attention, or maybe some type of medication or prescription. So there's a way to get this problem solved. Number one, do your homework yourself. Make sure you create that environment, clean, acidic, stimulated, hydrated environment. Then number two, see a trichologist, one that uses a handheld microscope, especially if you're having flakes, because not all flakes are equal. So it may be pollutants of an environmental nature, or a scalp nature, or cosmetic. So you want to see that. And then from there, the dermatologist. And that way you are determined, we're going to get this problem solved. The likelihood of you getting the answers will be greater, because that way you will make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. Okay, so great chat question. Thank you so much for that chat. My phone lines are open. And if you just tuned in, I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari. And happy Father's Day to the dads out there. And we are on air live. And we're just having a wonderful time, and we're getting some good calls. And if you want to call me, you can tune in and call in at 901-535-9342. That's 901-535-WDIA. We're going to go back to our phone lines again and welcome our caller. Hi, and welcome to Ask the Hair Doctor. Do you have a question for me? Happy Father's Day. Hello? Hi there. You have a question for me? Okay. Well, happy Father's Day to you, sir. You who cut your hair on Mill Branch? Oh, okay. I did. Oh, that was Elvis Presley. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Super. All right. Thank you for calling in. Okay. Okay. So your wife had, and ladies, this is perfect. We're gonna let the men, if you want to ask a question for your about your wife's hair, then that I will allow. But it has to be the man. It has to be, well, we said if it's the man calling, we want the man to ask the question, whatever they like. You can ask whatever question. If it's female, you have to ask about the man. Okay, so your wife has dry, brittle hair, and you want to know what to do about it. Is that your question? Okay. Okay, she's not, it's not getting longer. Okay, this is, and it grows uneven. Okay, so this is how we know whether her hair is actually growing evenly or not. Now, it's not by how it looks when it gets some length. It's, you know this by how it looks for at the scalp level. Now, let me just explain. You grow from your scalp and you obtain length from your strand or your shaft. So once the hair gets past that, the mouth of the follicle, that hair is going to start to obtain length, or it's not going to get length. Sometimes you'll have hair that grows and breaks and grows and breaks and grows and breaks. So it's growing, but it's not it's not obtaining length. Is she bald in any area? Is she bald in any area? But it's not bald. It's just broken and short and uneven. Oh, okay. And it's the strands are thin, or can you see her scalp? Okay, so she may have to have an examination, but let me just say this. If it's breakage, most likely it's breakage if it's uneven. Now, the way you want to obtain length, and I just want to address, that's why I'm asking all these questions. I want to make sure we give you a good takeaway answer. And so the way you are able to, what you're calling grow hair, but obtain length, is by taking care of the strand daily, especially with natural kinky hair. If you're going to have a big fro, or however, whatever she's wanting to do with her hair, she's got to take care of her strand daily. And what that means, number one, she cannot, and this is for men too who are wearing fros, you cannot sleep on your fro in a bonnet, or sleep on your fro without dressing the ends of the hair, because you get length from the shaft, the ends, that place. So if you are not careful, your hair is going to break back off. So she wants to, number one, we want to make sure we're applying a moisturizer to the ends and then sealing the ends with oil. That way she can have some elasticity, because her moisture, with the moisture levels going up, her strand is going to stretch and give when she manipulates and touches on it and kind of lifts it in place. So that's going to be crucial. Also, she needs to deep condition her hair. She needs to deep condition at least once a week. And what that's going to do is give her protein and moisture. And what that's going to do is keep her hair strong and hydrated on a deeper level. So that's going to be crucial. So make sure that she does it. Now, she can go on our website, and we have programs for natural hair. And we've helped many people who are trying to get longer, fuller, softer hair and naturally. And we have been able to do that. So make sure she does that. And she can actually call and tune in, have her tune in on Tuesdays. We have, and if she can't, these are always archived to my show, my cyber reading. I have a book called Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair, and we cyber read every Tuesday for an hour at least. And I archive those shows, and that helps her, and she can chat in with me, or she can always, like I said, call in as well. Go on my website. I tell you, that will definitely help her. And she can send in strand samples, and I can do a strand reading and find out if there's some damage there that's causing her problem. Or she can come in and see me in my institute. She can call 901-380-4445 and come in and have a hair and scalp analysis. Just giving you a bunch of options there. We don't. Everything is strictly by appointments with my appointment book because I have patients all the time. So this guarantees your appointment. And yes, sometimes I still get behind, but no, walk-ins are, we can take a walk-in if that slot just happens to be open and you walk in. But I wouldn't chance it. I would call in. Sure. Mhm. The caps, now it depends. Now, what is this made out of? Is it one of the little, the one of the tight, like, well, the bonnets, they shouldn't, because that bonnet has that, it rubs along the hairline and it causes traction, pulling, and sometimes friction, rubbing. So they don't want, don't want to do the bonnets, but they can cover their head with something of nylon or smooth fabric and they'll be fine, but not those bonnets because they tend to pull and rub that hairline. That elasticity sometimes will catch the strand. Sure. Well, it depends again, number one, on her texture. If she had, she may not have the texture hair that you have. That means the size strand. And if she does have the size strand you have, most women don't keep it as simple as men. Women tend to do a lot of different things to their hair to manipulate it, to groom it, to make it look a certain way. Men tend to keep it a little bit more simple. Not that they don't have problems. Some men still have problems, but women tend to manipulate. I would have to see her hair. I would have to just get a few more details, and I'm gonna tell you something that I do, and she can do this. Have her email me her questions, send me pictures of her hair. You can even send me pictures of both of y'all, and then I can kind of tell you a little bit about what I see in those pictures, and that may save you some money. I can't guarantee that I can be absolutely sure about your hair, but that'll give me some idea. But this is the reason most cases, the texture, size of the strand is different. So the strand that's smaller can't tolerate things that the strand that's larger can tolerate. And sometimes it's just how much manipulation, combing, twisting, pulling, brushing, all these things that women tend to do, detangling. They tend to do all these things to their hair, heated tools, flat iron. So there's a lot of things that women do that men don't do. And sometimes that may be the case with you and your wife. Okay. Three. Okay. Not necessarily, because the hair that you had younger and the hair that your wife had younger, you don't have. Hair grows in growth cycles and it sheds away and you got new hair and that kind of thing. So it doesn't necessarily mean because you didn't have chemicals and she did, that wouldn't cause you to have hair that does not obtain length. It can cause other problems, but that wouldn't be the reason. Thank you so much for calling. So, and we appreciate it. And happy Father's Day. Okay. We've got about a minute left, 2 minutes, a minute and a half. And thank that caller for calling in. We're going to try one more question that a text and an email question. Let's see if we have one. It says, I'm 24 years old and my hair is thinning in the front. My hair is pretty curly and I usually wear hats during the day. Is there something I can do at home to stop the thinning? My dad and brother all have full heads of hair. That could be an external follicular problem because hair loss that's internal, like androgenetic alopecia or male pattern, is strongly genetically linked. So if no one else in the family has this problem, then most likely this is very external. One, the hat is not causing the problem unless it's friction around the sides of your head. Just to cover your head is not a problem. Number two, we want to look at, again, some of the things I mentioned earlier about a clean, acidic, stimulated, hydrated environment. So we want to make sure we're taking care of it. So I'd like to hear more about what you do, your regimen. Let's see. I think we have time for a half a question. One more. So what do we have? I think we have 57. Is 57 right? 1 minute. Okay, so somebody's clock is different from mine, but I'm gonna wrap it up. We've got a couple of more questions, but men, thank you again. Happy Father's Day to everyone. To God be the glory in Jesus. You know who I serve. Thank you so much for tuning in to Ask the Hair Doctor. I'll see you next week. We're going to talk about biracial girls, children, and how do we take care of their hair. So again, happy Father's Day to you. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week right here on Ask the Hair Doctor with me, trichologist Lisa Akbari.
This is K. Guess Who Like It, inviting you to stay tuned to Mr. Mark Stanley.
Thank guys.
Sunday evening,
I love you.
right here.
See you guys next week. Happy Father's Day. Said Niecy. Bye, Niecy. And bye, Mark. Okay, we're going to see you guys then. To God be the glory in Jesus. See you later, family.